Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading room. Sorry, I'm a little bit late here. Got some technical difficulties still loading up my charts. Hope to have this all in play here in a moment. Looks like we've got a rather substantial opening gap to deal with to the downside this morning. That's very bearish. So we'll take a look at this here in just a second. The market making an attempt at an early recovery out of the gate. Big gap like that to the short side, definitely a little bit of a bearish sign, and it looks like the decline came all pre-market. So there was a pre-market report that sent the market into a little bit of a tailspin. You can see yesterday and the overnight very, very sideways, although it does look like we had a bit of a sell-off through the Asian session as well. But at any rate, very large opening gap here to the upside. A little bit of a bearish flavor on the day so far. We'll have to give them a few minutes here to get their bearings, but like I said, definitely a bearish kind of day. Or it seems that way anyway. Okay, wow, look at that. The buyers making a big push to start. Here on the Hawk now, we're getting a first micro-macro cross higher. The Eagle giving us a really quick trend change signal. The Raptor actually produced a early cloud crossover right here. It didn't print as a number one signal, but it does have all the parameters of a number one signal. Like I said, though, it's still quite early. I don't want to get too crazy here out of the open. There we go. There's the crossover signal on the Raptor now. Is it a viable signal? Yes, most definitely. The problem I'm having with this trade is, where do I cover it? Right. I could look at a second push entry, maybe enter just above the high. This is going to be a relatively tight stop right here. The reason being, and I don't trade fib levels per se, but the fact of the matter is the market does like to make 50% retracements for whatever reason you want to ascribe to that. And you can see my stop where it would be right here is definitely within the range of this recent rally. So that makes it a little bit less appealing. While we're waiting for the market, there will be no trading room tomorrow. I have an early appointment tomorrow morning, and I'm not going to be able to host the trading room tomorrow. So the trading room will resume on Thursday, hopefully. I have to head out of town tomorrow. Thanks, Scott. Scott says we got a couple reports today, the FOMC and the Philly Fed. So maybe a couple of market movers. Definitely some more volatility than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, very quiet compared to today's session. Oh, sorry, Scott says tomorrow. As you can tell, I don't follow the reports calendar very closely. All right, getting a bit of a pushback now from the sellers. Got ourselves a first micro-macro cross, a trend change, and a bit of a late filter entry there. It got spoiled by the single bar going out of sync on the trend line there. A lot of times I don't pay that much attention when the bar goes out of sync or the trend line goes out of sync for just a single bar. But given how the market is looking for some direction, I might look at a second push opportunity, or maybe just, let's see, where's the support down there? Around 35. Maybe enter below those lows. This is a very, very late number 2 signal. And looks like I got some positive slippage on that. Look at me. We'll hopefully get a little bit of follow through on this signal now. Obviously, I was a little bit late getting in here. You could just ignore the number 2 signal entirely and wait for the cloud crossover to occur. That's also doable. What time is it? Oh, it's almost my least favorite time of the day to trade, almost at that quarter to the hour mark. And I know I said I would just take profit on target if I can get it, but I am really, really tempted, given the added volatility here this morning, to try to draw this trade out to the next support level, which will be down here at around the 69.13 zone. Which will be the low of the morning. Next support level actually at 69.10. So far, however, uh-oh, okay, this number one signal, if we get above these highs, I don't normally reverse on a position, but this time I might. If I get tagged out, so we do have a number one signal. You can see we've got a little bit of a sideways market. Now we're following up with another number three signal. I was anticipating, obviously, more follow through here to the short side, but it doesn't look like it's happening. It looks like the market is going to try to get above the high of the morning. And if it does, there could be some follow through from that. That's why I was thinking about reversing on the signal if I get stopped out. That's not something, like I say, I normally do. If we can get back down here toward these lows and take out this low, I think we're going to see a little bit of a bearish follow through. So we've essentially got this market in a bit of a bind at the moment. Fortunately, I'm already short, but if you're not already short, you could certainly look at selling a break of the low or a break of the high. All right, got the trade to break even. Going to implement the parabolics now. Ooh, don't roll it too fast. Now we're getting the cloud crossover signal again to short. And we'll see whether or not they can get back down here toward the lows of the morning. Oop, nope, I got tagged on a quick little reverse there, but that's all right. Still had a decent move on the trade. Maybe I should have stayed with the ATR stop. That's the one that seemed to perform pretty well the other day. Let's see, had I used the ATR? Nope, would have got tagged regardless. I would have had to dial back the ATR a little bit. Nope, still would have got tagged. They were bound and bent. They were going to tag me out on that one. We're getting a reverse signal now in the Raptor. The Hawk, fairly sideways to neutral. We're getting a first micro-macro cross lower, so the Hawk's still very bearish. The Falcon keeps breaking the trend line, which is a little unfortunate. We did get a late filter entry right here on this move down. So we're working a possible late filter entry short on the Falcon. A decent enough signal. The problem is going to be covering the position, right? There's not a lot of structure here. I think we're going to see it slip lower, though. I think we're going to see them try to recover near the low of the morning. So that should work out, I think, providing you can hold on long enough. A little bit of a double pullback here in the Raptor. The double pullback simply means the market moves into the cloud twice, and each time it comes out with a signal, it's usually that second signal that we anticipate some follow through on. Tends to be a little bit stronger when we actually intersect the hard edge, but it is a double pullback signal all the same. Here we go. Now we're in the hard edge a little bit. Might get a little bit of a hard edge bounce from that, but we definitely have some sidewaysness going on. And I suppose that's the result of being getting within the vicinity of the lows of the morning. There was some obvious pushback out of the open, right? So the market opens and goes on a tear higher. So there's obviously some buying down here. What we're looking at now is a test of the extreme. The extreme in this case being the low. The market will either follow through and take out the lows, or it will fail and go back toward the highs. My money is on the bears. I think the bears are going to push it. Push it back to the lows. Another first micro-macro cross here in the Hawk. The Hawk giving us plenty of opportunities this morning. Lots of signals. We're sneaking down almost back toward the low. That was a quick little number 2 signal that developed right here. And we're back into the hard edge of the trading band, both on the Eagle and the Raptor. The Geiger counter giving us a good bullish push. Notice how the buyers overwhelmed the sellers there. Okay, we're into the hard edge. We'll see now, we're going rather sideways here. If we come back with yet another number 2 signal, that could be a buy. Oh, wow, look at the sellers now just pouring it on. If all this selling gets absorbed, there will be a bullish pushback. The signal may develop around here somewhere. The safer buy is above this swing high. I think that could encourage a few bulls to enter the market. See, here's the number 2 signal. But like I say, the safer entry probably up here. Even though it's quite late, you can see I'm giving up at least half my profit objective before even gaining entry. But that's because I'm not 100% certain. See, there's the bears. The sellers have not left the building. All right, we got ourselves another really conflicted market here at the moment. Russell asked, what do you suppose happened right before midnight Eastern time? Market dropped 50 points in a minute. That is an excellent question, Russell. I haven't checked any of the news feeds. I don't know. I can't even speculate. Honestly, folks, I am very ignorant of the news. If my wife wouldn't tell me what's going on in the world, I figure if something's really important, I'll hear about it. But otherwise, at least as far as the markets go, the markets react, or pardon me, the news reacts to what's happening in the market. The markets don't react to what's happening in the news. You have to think about the mindset of a news reporter, and I said this before. If you're a journalist or a news reporter, you see the world through the lens of, or your filter is the news. That's how you interpret what's going on around you, right? So if the market drops 50 points, you go scrambling to figure out why did the market go 50 points. Obviously, there was some reason. Whether the reason the news people give you is the correct one, well, that's up for discussion. But it would certainly be interesting to find out what they attributed it to. And we'll see if things slow down here a little bit. I'll check some of the news websites and see. All right, we are, again, in a little bit of a tight sideways range, but the bottom seems to be getting a little stronger. If we play our little connect the dot game, it seems like we're getting a little bit flatter here. So I would not be opposed to the idea of a buy in spite of the very strong bear market we're looking at. So a decent enough follow through on these number 3 signals. Those are obviously with trend, getting us back to the lows this morning. Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe the buyers are done. Oh, I love it when I say something like that and the market makes a quick reversal. Okay, that again, another number 2 signal. Wow, we're really conflicted. This number 2 signal did not print just because it did not meet the programming parameters, but visually you can see we're retesting the lows, the extreme, coming back with a signal. All right, let's put that on the shelf for now. I may be being too stubborn. The hawk, again, reinforcing the sideways nature of the market, or the current sideways nature of the market. A lot of yellow bars. When you get these yellow bar clusters in the hawk, that's a sign that the market is sideways. I'll go back here to the Raptor. For the moment, we're getting another number 2 signal. The hard edge just up here. It's a doable buy. Let's see if we can get a second push opportunity on it. There we go. This is obviously a risky trade because I'm trying to do a counter trend in a strong downward market. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking maybe a base is forming, at least a short-term base. No guarantees. The market could very well rally through the lows and just keep going lower. Goodness knows, as we get near the low of the morning, there's obviously buying down here, but all the buyers, their exit orders are right down here as well. If we see a break of the low, there's some room to go. Okay, I'm going to clear this order. And there we are at the lows. Buyers coming back a little. Okay, let's put that back on the shelf. A slow grind lower. And we did make our target. We did make the low of the morning, which I'm a little bit surprised by. There we go. There's the sellers. Look at that. Well, looks like I got stuck looking for a buy. Missed another opportunity or two to sell. That's all right. It's not the first time I've missed a trading opportunity. I'm sure it will not be the last. Okay, so we're getting some good follow-up signals here. The hawk actually giving us a first micro-macro cross and a macro pullback. And good enough follow through on those. The falcon, yet another late filter entry signal after a very sideways market. This trend line's rather steep for a late filter entry signal. That's not as desirable as when the trend line goes very, very flat or flat-ish. That one's actually kind of steep too. If you can find, ignore for a moment that this one went out of sync right here, but if you can find a trend line that goes flat and your late filter entry signal develops, those are usually very reliable. You can usually bank on those quite easily. If the trend line has a lot of slope to it, however, those are a little less desirable. Not to say it won't work out, it's just that it could be a little bit more difficult. Thanks, Ryman. Ryman says we're back to Friday's lows, which were at 69.02. Yeah, big retracement. Big move. There's going to be some profit taking or something going on here soon. The market should go a little bit higher. The trend definitely down today. It's going to make for some interesting ranges tomorrow. Oh, interesting. Ryman says President Trump speaks at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm assuming that's this evening. All right, back into the hard edge on the Eagle and the Raptor. We're producing a first micro-macro cross now on the Hawk. That is buyable, by the way. I would expect a little bit of an uptick from here. And the first micro-macro cross, of course, one of the earlier signals. Kind of a second push opportunity on this one. And here too, I'm going to try to sneak a couple extra ticks out of it if I can get it. Oh, I think they slipped me on the entry too. Scoundrels. Got to get above this high. Got to get above the 69.18 half, 69.19 zone. I think there was a, yeah, the hard edge of the trading band is right there. Okay, so my trade's at break even, and let's see if we can't get a little giddy up out of this. No, don't look back yet. Get up there. Oh, yes, I know, Mark. I should have scalped. Should have taken my profit. Darn it. Well, it wasn't a losing trade, but didn't make any money on it either. Oh well. Did hit the scalp target. However, if I were smart, I would have taken my scalp profit. Oh well. Possible red bar buy signal on the hawk, and that's fading pretty quick. All right, here they come again. Back toward the little recent swing high. Really big test of the extreme, which is nice. It's nice to see. Because this may be the tip-off that the sellers are losing their grip on the market. And that we may, in fact, see a little bit of a rally. I suppose you could have interpreted this as a really big number 2 signal. This could be an early cloud crossover. It's not going to print as a number 1, but you can see the clouds are trying to cross. We had a little bit of a pullback. There's your number 1 signal. Another first micro macro cross higher. And a trend change signal in the Falcon. So things starting to look a little bit more bullish across the board. we're just kind of drifting a little. Got a late filter entry to buy on the Falcon. Given that the market may be changing direction, this is a good one to use a second push on as well. So you allow the signal to engage, you see where it reacts, and then you place your entry above that zone. Just in case the market's not ready to head higher. Note this trend line, however, nice and flat. This is what I was just talking about. Stop placement's a little tricky though. Stops definitely need to go down here somewhere. Ooh, really good bearish pushback. All right, it's starting to look a little bit more, well, it's either a really, really big bear flag or we're looking at a reversal. We do have a rule of 3 now in the eagle. So there's the buy signal on the eagle kind of confirming the possible reverse. The Raptor, well, it produced a signal here. I don't know how I want to qualify that, but this one that's working is going to be a #1 signal. That's going to be the cloud crossover signal. You could get ready for that and just kind of, park an order up here somewhere, just above those highs. What we'd be looking for is a breakout above the trading range here and some bullish follow through. Okay, here's that #1 cloud crossover signal that we were anticipating. And I'll be a good boy this time. I'll just take my profit on target if I can get it. Julian, she says, I've hit all my near downside targets. Now to the upside, 7,009, or to the downside, wait for it, 66.85. Julian, she's got some big downside targets. A lot of people have been waiting for a correction in the stock market for a while now. And retrace back to 7,009, that would pretty much cover the morning gap. Come on, where's my follow through? Get up there. Oh, come on. Get up there. You know you want to. Well, they're sneaking up on the primary support line here at 69.30. Well, they were sneaking up on the primary support line at 69.30. Sellers not going quietly. Okay, I'm going to adjust my break even. There we go. Get up there. Give you a little nudge. Just push it higher with your mouse. There you go. Come on. Ah, whew. Boy, that was hard work. Okay, back to the primary resistance line, or pardon me, primary support line. We'll see a little bit of a reaction here, but I think we're going to see a bigger retracement. I don't know if I'm quite as ambitious as Julian, looking at 7,009. I could see maybe, where were we bouncing before? 69.50 up here. That would be substantial. And now I think we're seeing the buyers or some profit taking. I do believe this is going to be short term though. Today's trend definitely down. Sellers are not going to leave this totally up to the buyers. There will be one more bearish pushback. know if we're going to get any doable signals, though. Might get a number 2 signal on the Raptor if conditions are right. Otherwise, maybe a red bar buy that we can sell on the Hawk. Everything else is probably going to remain quite bullish. But like I said, you can't ignore the overall trend seems to be down in spite of some very strong bullish rallies, intermittent bullish rallies. And this definitely one of them. Look at this one go. Well, that was a crazy strong move. Well, I took a little chunk out of that one, but certainly left about another $150 behind, which is unfortunate, but it happens. Welcome to the wonderful world of trading. Okay, as we're closing in on those 69.50 resistance areas, we're starting to see a little bit of sideways trading from the market. Oh, way to go, Julian. She's long from 69.17, but only on a single contract. Well done, though. That's a nice little run up. Okay, here's that number 2 signal that I was kind of anticipating, a little bit of a pushback. This very, very, very aggressive, and probably something, if you're going to try it, you really just want to throw a couple dollars at it. The market's still in a crazy uptrend. There's the high of the morning. In fact, even this entry here might be a little bit premature. You know, there was a little bit of resistance down here around the 69.35 zone. And now we get another follow-up number 2 signal. The target is the hard edge. That would bring us down here to 69.28.29, and maybe, well, we'll certainly encounter the primary support zone if the market can head lower from here. Like I said, very, very risky trade in the sense that it's a lower probability, at least until prices can get a little bit lower to confirm the sellers are going to show up. Right now, we're kind of getting in early and crossing our fingers and our toes and hoping that prices tail off from here. Got tagged on that quick little hiccup. Well, picked up a couple of ticks anyway. As prices now try to slip lower and get toward the hard edge of the trading band, there should be another selling opportunity. You can see we got a first micro macro cross working here on the hawk now. The hard edge, of course, the target. The Falcon working a early trend change signal right there. the Raptor now. This will be the same on the Falcon. We're getting a sell signal, that number 2 signal. Here on the Falcon, it's a trend change signal. And the Falcon now coming back with the signal to sell. The Hawk now in a 4-arrow consolidation, even though it's moving into yellow bars. And I was going to say we're going to get a second push entry opportunity on that, but we'll see. More sideways trading. Do we have a double top here? So 69.45, 69.44, 3/4, close. Oh, and there's that number 2 signal once more. Julian says buyers looking to come in at 69.37. That explains a little bit of a hiccup we had there. Rick is asking, I have a question. I like the green and purple indicator lines on the other indicator. Could that be set up on the Raptor system? The green and purple lines. Which one are you looking at here, Rick? We've got the Hawk Scalper here in the top left, Falcon Swing Trader, top right, Eagle Trend Trader, bottom left, top right, okay, on the Falcon. So you are inquiring. Oh, you're talking about the trend line, the Falcon trend line. Well, it's unique to the Falcon. The good news is that it's also in the Raptor programming. The Raptor is a hybrid of the other 3 indicators. So you have elements of the Hawk, the Falcon, and the Eagle working here in the Raptor. If you have the Falcon Trend Trader, I don't know if you can even import that. Yeah, the Falcon trend line is not independent. Let's see, the filter you can add, no problem. I don't know. I'm going to say no. But like I said, the good news is you have all the elements of the Falcon already in your Raptor programming. All right, we're hitting a little bit of a sideways skid here again. I thought we may see a little bit of bullish, or pardon me, bearish pushback. And it is slight. We're making some lower highs. Holding the lows, however. No, they're not interested, not yet. So we're going to produce yet another number 2 signal after this number 3 signal. And the number 3 signal is valid, by the way. It's a logistical problem again. The entry, not so much, but where in the world am I going to place my stop loss? Ideally, the stop loss should go way down here. Well, I know that's not going to work for me. So the number 2 signal seems a little bit more palatable, only because I can cover the risk a little better. Rick's asking, are the purple bars and green bars reflect the Falcon trend colors? Okay, if you're still talking about the Falcon trend trader, yeah, I don't know why yours are turning up purple on your monitor. They're supposed to be red, but yes, when they're red, you're going to have more of a bearish bias, and when they're green, you have a bullish bias. The idea with the Falcon trend trader, there's a little bit more confluence in the signals. Like you're looking for a green signal with a green trend line with a green filter. So that's pretty much the way the Falcon swing trader works. There are certain signals on the Falcon swing trader that we deem to be higher probability signals, just like we do with the other tools as well. So you get your Raptor or your Falcon trend change signal. That's this one right here. You get your trend line touch signal. You get your late filter entry signals. Those are your high probability signals for the Falcon. But yes, when the bars are painting green, you have a bullish bias, and when they're painting red or on your monitor they look purple, you're getting a more bearish bias. You're going to notice that your bar colors are actually on your Raptor are going to associate closer with the bar colors on the Hawk. But the signals are going to pretty much overlap with your Falcon signals most of the time. So here, where we had a number 2 signal on the Raptor, that's the one that we just took short, we had a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. It was spoiled by a couple of bars here, but it's essentially still a late filter entry signal or an early trend change signal, however you would deem that. Here on the Raptor, people always ask, can I change the bar colors? Yes, absolutely. You go into your settings for your indicator. You find your Raptor, and then you can adjust your bar colors right here. If you prefer to go with the traditional green and red, so the Raptor is the same idea. When the bars are printing blue, the market has a more bullish bias. When they start printing red, you've got a more bearish bias. So I don't know if I answered your question or not, Rick, but I hope so. Dan asked a good question here about the stops. Dan asked, I'm not sure of the rationale of the often very large stops so as not to strangle the trade. When you are only 15 ticks positive, you go to break even, and it does indeed often strangle the trade. Am I missing something? So I think what Dan is asking is, when I initially start my trade, I have the ginormous stop, and yet my break-even trigger will be down here somewhere. So Dan's asking, what's the difference? When you get to break even, your stops automatically come down. Is that not the same as starting the trade with a tighter stop? Well, yes and no. First off, the break-even trigger is an option. You don't need to run the break-even. In which case you could stay with the bigger stop until the trade completes. The reason I start with a larger stop is I think of a stop more as a safety net. It's there in case I need it. It's not there to maintain some sort of fictitious risk-reward ratio or something of that nature. When the trade first starts, I don't know how much the market may pull back against me. That's why I'm starting with a bigger stop. The market may not pull against me at all, but if it does, if it moves a little bit against me, I want to be able to ride out that swing instead of getting stopped out prematurely, right? Once I can see the market starting to react and head back in my direction, well, at this point, I may choose to bring my stop in and tighten my trade somewhat. As the market gets down to my profit target, I'm of the logic that if the market gets 3/4 of the way to my profit objective and then reverses, it shouldn't do that. Like, it should get, if it gets 3/4 of the way there, 75, 80, 90% of the way there, it should hit my profit target. And if not, well, then I'm prepared to take a break-even stop out. Yes, sometimes that does stop me out prematurely. Sometimes that does prove to be rolling my stops too quickly. For those of you who have been in the trading room with me for a while now, know that's one of my quirks, is that I have a tendency to play with my stops maybe a little bit more than I should. We all have our little quirkiness as traders, and that happens to be one of mine. Would I do better just letting the trade play out? Quite possibly. But for my mindset, with what I'm comfortable with, I'm usually okay taking the early stop out if the market hits my break-even trigger. The other way you could look at it, Dan, is you could say, okay, well, you're going to take the trade. There's a signal. You're going to take the trade. If you're going to take your break-even at 15 ticks, why not just take your profit at 15 ticks? Right? That's another way to look at it. Just go all in, all out. If 15 ticks is all I'm allowed to give, all I'm prepared to give the market, why don't I just take profit there? And that too is a fair question. And I'm afraid I don't have a really good answer for you. But that's the logic. That's what goes through my head when I'm looking at a break-even trigger. Julian asks, so what is your profit objective? We have high probability profit targets for each of the tools. With the Hawk Scalper, we have a $50 per contract target. With the Falcon and the Raptor, it's $100, and with the Eagle Trend Trader, it's $200. Many times in the trading room, you'll just see me trade singles. If you're trading multiple contracts, by all means, leave a runner in play. You know, there's always the debate, is it better to run out a position, or is it better to take profit on profit on target? From my experience and my personal opinion, I believe that if you are a smaller account trader, you will do better banking profit on target. Because all those little profits add up. Those of you who are old enough to remember rotary telephones know how long distance charges, you know, you used to pay $1 a minute to phone the other coast, the other side of the country. Well, it wasn't $1 a minute at that time. It was like 25 cents a minute, but it would be like $1 a minute today. Nowadays, of course, your cell phone plan lets you call anywhere pretty much in North America for free. Well, as part of your plan. But I still remember the day I looked at my telephone bill and all these little nickel and dime phone calls still added up to like $300, to like a $300 phone bill. And I thought, well, why don't I transfer that to my trading? You know, all these little winners add up, and they do. But like I say, if you have the ability to run multiple contracts, having a runner in play allows you to capture some profit on target and still hang on for the bigger move. Because as we all know, you know, if you have the ability to ride out some of these swings or leave a contract in play, you can capitalize on a much larger move, and those bigger moves, you know, they can add up to substantial profits. The problem is the bigger moves don't happen that often. You know, maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks for sure, we'll see a good trending day, but going in, we don't always know what day that's going to be. Sometimes the worst looking days start off looking as sideways days, and then all of a sudden they develop into a big move, and vice versa. Sometimes those days that look like they're going to be huge trending days just end up moving sideways. So, like I said, that's my own personal opinion. And very often in the trading room too, I will leave money on the table trying to capture that bigger move. Today, obviously, big trending day. But even had I taken all my profit on target, I probably would not be that much worse off. Because there's been some pretty violent swings that would have been really hard to hang on to today. Rick is asking, the Trade Manager works great for NinjaTrader 7. Is NinjaTrader 8 ready too? No, it is not. Unfortunately, with Ninja 8, the Ninja people made some cosmetic upgrades, and they are purely cosmetic, but they're wreaking havoc with the Trade Manager programming. Ninja 8, even though it's the download, when you click the download button at NinjaTrader is the one that pops up, it is technically still in beta. It's not entirely free of glitches. So once it gets stable, and we know it stays stable, the programmers will reprogram the Trade Manager. But right now, Ninja 7 is the stable platform, and that's, as you can imagine, as sophisticated as Trade Manager is, it is no small task to reprogram. So, short answer, no. Trade Manager not ready for NinjaTrader 8. All right, well, a very, very brisk morning here. Some really nice trades, great opportunities. It looks like the buyers are going to try to fill that opening range gap. So here we're getting yet another buy signal. Once more, so just some really, really big ranges, hard to cover, especially for smaller traders. There they go. Wow, Julian, you might get your 7,009 yet. Ooh, look at that go. All right, gang, I got a button up shop here this morning. Again, a reminder, no trading room tomorrow, no trading room Wednesday. Hopefully, I will be back Thursday. If there's a glitch, I will get word to you. Talk to you Thursday. Bye for now.